always remember to go to lessons privately. You'd have to drive there, bring your stuff there, do your half-hour class, drive back home. You're looking at about an hour and a half. Watch the whole tutorial and you'll pick up on so much. You'll really appreciate it. All right, everybody, back for lesson 7 for beginners and getting through a song. Hopefully you've built lots of dexterity with lessons 1 through 6 by doing all the work that I've taught you that we use every day in our school, our facility here, teaching private one-on-one since 1997. And we've come up with lots of great tricks to build left-hand dexterity and strumming techniques as well. Right now we're working with left hand. If you've gone through all those lessons, great. If you haven't, go check them out if you're a beginner and build your strength and learn how to change chords properly. You'll appreciate it. It won't take you long to master 3 chords that will get you into quite a few songs. So the song that I wanted to start off with, and it's going to be an easy version to start because nothing comes easy on guitar unless you work in an easy fashion. That's why it's called TJ's Easy Guitar. We slowly build you up and slowly increase you and slowly advance you. So if you've done your D, your C add 9, and your G chord, this is what I want you to try and do now. We're going to start on the 4th string here for our D chord, and we're going to pick it twice. And we're going to go 1 and, 1 and. Now you have to be able to tap your foot and go, keep your foot up, and when you say 1 and, when I said 1, my foot hit the floor, and when I said and, my foot came up. So we get 1 and, 1 and. Now when your foot comes down, so try to get that really good, right? Because we're building rhythms in our soul. It's nothing easy about this. So now, if you've watched the other exercises, you don't really need to see my hand or anything because that's already been done. Now we're talking about building some rhythms and getting our changes to make sense. So I start with my foot up, hopefully you can see that, and I'm getting ready and I go 1 and 2, I start a count, 3 and 4 and 1 and. Now that's a lot of time to count, so I usually, for practice purposes, I'll just go 1 and 2. Can you get that? It looks easy, but it's tough. You're doing 4 different things at once. 1 and 2. Now when I said 2, I strummed down from the 4th string nice and lightly. And hopefully you've learned how to hold your pick. So make sure that your finger's on an angle. You keep your fingers out. These guys are out. This guy's on make like a hook. Sits on the side. Bend your thumb in and keep a little bit of the pick out. And when you strum down, you don't want to strum down on the flat part of the pick. You want to strum down a little bit on the angle. So my pick is generally pointing right into here, my guitar, the corner of my guitar neck. And I come down the side. It's more like a half circle motion and then back up the same way. So we don't want to have a really tense hand while we do this. So while you're using your foot and trying to get these rhythms, you get this 1 and 2. So that was and our pick's going down, down, down. Now we're going to get another down and we're going to go 1 and 2. 3 and 4. We're going to get good at that first. 1 and 2. All right, now we're going to add the next element. If you haven't got that yet, stop the video and practice it. The next element would be 1 and 2 and So now when I say my foot comes up and So we got 1, 1 and 2 and 3. So you got to try to not even think about the but ready to come up and hit your foot when you say 3. So you got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and Now students have a very hard time with that, so I ask them to break it down. Do something like 1 and 2 and 3 and why you want to practice that with me or with an instructor who's done their work and really, practice properly, because we keep you in time. When you're new at it, like most of my students are like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and because we don't really know the rhythm of those numbers. Music's about rhythm and numbers. So that's why it's nice to practice along with my tutorial while I'm counting and playing. So if you haven't got that yet, again, stop the video and work it. Now what I do is I get with my students, I say, okay, we're going to just practice this one chord and strumming for a bit. So we get this 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so now we're trying to get another down, 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 up, 1 and 2. Remember, I said at first, break it down a bit. Maybe just go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and all right. I'm going to come a little closer now just so you can see the strumming hand and everything. So now we're basically trying to play this D chord and strumming. So we get this 1 and 2 and once you get that going good, and you can keep it going, 1 and I missed my root note there. So I'm picking the 4th string twice and then strumming down, down, up, 1 and 2 and 3, and nice and light, 4 and get that really good. And take your time learning. It's not going to be easy, but once you get through this stuff, look, my hand's still back by the keys. My fingers are nice and around, you can see how they stretch out nicely right onto their tips, all important things. Now what you want to try to do is go 1 and 2 and 3. And you got to try to get this finger to get up there and pick that string 5 when you say 3 without going 1 and 2 and 3. Well, it's not your fingers dictating how the speed of the song is, it's your count. So your finger has to keep up with your count. It's like a little hand on a clock. We can't slow it down or speed it up, but it's continuously moving around the clock at the same speed. Or so we hope and think. The older you get, it seems to move a lot faster. But so let's try that again where we get this, and let's go really slow. And it's nice to start with a count where you're like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Hey, see, if you go slower, you might be able to hit it. So try it again. 1 and 2 and 3. Maybe don't even add your foot in yet. Just do it without and try to get the mechanics working. 1 and 2 and 3. There we go. Try it again. We got 1 and 2 and 3. Now we got to hit that again on the and, this 5th string, because that's the root note of the C chord. String 5, counting from the bottom up. Right? We only have 6 strings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we're going to get 1 and 2 and 3 and. Nice. If you get it. If you got it, that's great. If not, again, we shut the camera or the video off and practice, turn it back on. But 1 and 2 and 3 and. Good. Let's try it again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Oh, now we got to add 4 in there. Try it again. We got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Maybe even a little slower if it's too hard. It's all about you setting a speed for your fingers, much like going to the gym. You put how much weight you want to bench press or work out with. So this is all about speed, using time to slowly build our dexterity. So again, we could go something like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. If you can get that like 6-10 times, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and you start to develop that, then let's add our andas on the C add 9, where we get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and beautiful. If you got through it, if you didn't, that's your strategy. Turn the video off, work on it for 10 minutes, come back, and then we'll work on doing this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and. Now notice the count split from D to C add 9. I'm not going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and I'm only getting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so we split that 4 count up into 2 chords, half on the D, half on the C. When we get to the G, we use the full count. So we get a little break there, and we get this 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. That's the idea of strategies with TJ's Easy Guitar and making it easy for you to get through things, breaking things down, thinking about counting, thinking about all the elements that we need to get this instrument to sound like a song. Congratulations to all of you who have stuck through these methods and see progress. It's a very nice thing when you see yourself progressing and you're starting to hear stuff. I get it. It's awesome. The other thing that I wanted to talk about, so you can practice that, it's a lot faster. I mean, Sweet Home, and that's just an easier tutorial on it. It's like, but you might want to later put in all these riffs, right? Anyways, that'll be another lesson on doing that. Let's work through the basic parts where it's just 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and nice soft picks. Notice I'm sweeping down very lightly, no digging in your strings with your pick. Nice and light when I come down, just the weight of my hand. I'm not forcing the sound out of my guitar. I'm using my wrist, not your arm. And we use our wrist to pick our root notes. And 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3. Now remember, when I'm playing, and you guys are like starting out, I've been playing since I was 8, try with yourselves to make sure that you are thinking about your change while you're counting. That's another element, right? If you start to get this good, that's awesome. Then try to get it faster. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and then if you get it good at that speed, go faster. We will introduce metronomes. It's one of the most important tools. to know if you are in time or not. So if I'm listening to this and I wanted to play the Sweet Home in the studio, I'd have that going 1 and 2 and that's pretty fast because I got to hit the and before the beat. 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and a 3. Every time this beats, you hit a number. 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4, and I mean, there is ways of knowing if you're doing things right or wrong, and that's how we know, by making sure we're in time. So I'll try it just to show you how it would work, and then we'll have another lesson about working with metronomes and building speed properly. I mean, it's like going to the gym and not using any weights and trying to build up your muscles. It's not going to happen. But if you use a metronome a little bit and start to develop timing, things move a lot quicker. So I get this 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and a 1 and 2, 3, 4. See, every time I say 1 or 2, it's on the beat, and all the other ones are in between. 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and a 2 and a 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and a... Then I try to tap now that might be too fast for beginners. Then I try to tap my foot too with it. Now slow, you can start slow, like at the beginning of the metronome, where it's like 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and 2 and a 3 and 4. Very hard stuff. It's really where you have to be working by yourself. Nobody's bothering you, and you're really paying attention to that. We'll talk about working with metronomes on the next lesson. For this week, I'd like you to just work on trying to get that working just without all these other elements, because that's enough. There's so many elements to think about that I've talked about. All right, that's guitar, that's any instrument, drums, bass, piano. It's huge amounts of mind control with our hands and our ears. Listening with our ears. I hope that lesson's helped you get through Sweet Home. Don't forget to work it nice and slow, the way we talked about it. 3. Get that good, then maybe add the and. 1 and 2 and a 3 and. Right, get that good, maybe 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4. Gotta go slow to make the move, right? 1 and 2 and I play a little quicker because I don't like to waste your time.